Where am I?
Do you ever think about how it should be called the clitoral hood of the traveling pants?
I've never thought that in my life. What an
But
intro.
how about now?
I mean, if it was like a lesbian porn spinoff, which if they haven't done that yet, I feel like that definitely could have been a thing like 15 years ago. But
Is that movie 15 years old?
How old is that movie? It's definitely not in our collection.
No, it is not.
2005. So yeah, 15 years.
2005.
There's a sequel in 2008. I didn't know that.
I saw the sequel. I saw part of the sequel. I was in the room while someone was watching the sequel, and then I left.
Apparently, there's a third one that's in the works.
Maybe that one's clitoral hood of the traveling pants.
I mean, I guess we'll have to wait until it's released.
I mean,
I have no idea.
We've had many Dudes Rock films.
Well, we don't need to. Big Fish is not a Dudes Rock film.
No, but as a society, like we just had the Snyder Cut come out. It's a
have
big
you watched
deal.
That yet?
I have not.
I have not either. But I've been telling people that it's good.
And that's what matters.
Yeah. Well, because I bought... shit, my microphone thing fell over. I bought the Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition on Blu-ray. Because it
sounds like something that would come with a plastic Batman mask.
Oh, it didn't. But I wish it... Actually, I don't think it came with really anything. It was on sale at Barnes & Noble. Yeah. It didn't come with anything. It's a little beat up. It's clearly been hanging around for a while. I was gonna watch that, like, when I was in my apartment, I'd put it in the Blu-ray thing and watch that, and then the next day I would pop on Justice League, the Zack Snyder cut, and then just make a weekend out of it. But of course, once again, I am not in my apartment. Still,
that sucks.
Yeah, man, dude, this is such fucking bullshit. I reached out to the dude, like one of the apartment people. Yeah, I reached out to Ted Cruz himself, and I was like, "Hey, man, when is my apartment going to be fixed?" And Ted Cruz is like, "I don't know. Let me redirect you to one of your apartment people." And I said, "Okay, that's fair." And then the apartment person was like, "Hey, we don't know yet, but we'll get you an update when we know." And I'm like, can I not pay rent, like, because I haven't been living there? And he's like, well, no, you have to pay rent. And
that's only fair.
And we're not going to give you any credits or anything. Like, if you feel like it's been unlivable, you can request to transfer to a different unit. And I'm like, well, I do, because I haven't been living there. So I would say it is unlivable. But if you're going to make me like pay to move my stuff to a different unit, then like I'm not going to do that.
What if you did that and that unit was also flooded?
I mean, that would be quite the turn.
That would be bad.
It's annoying. And then they're like, yeah, people are going to come in on Wednesday and look at your stuff. And I'm like, great. Maybe it'll be done by the weekend. And then I check Wednesday, nobody showed up. I checked Thursday, nobody showed up. I checked Friday, nobody showed up.
Sounds bad.
Yeah, man, it's really irritating. How was your week?
My week was fine. Basically nothing happened in my life.
Yeah.
Trying to think. Did I watch anything? No. My life has been nothing.
Oh, I watched whatchamacallit, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The first episode. Because this is a movie and TV podcast.
Yeah,
Dude, I mean, because you haven't watched WandaVision either, but for
that's
the folks listening, I was more emotionally impacted by the one episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier that I half watched while I was at work than like the entire 8 episodes of WandaVision.
That's what I heard also. I've heard that WandaVision is very good, and then the Winter Soldier is just like extremely better.
I would even say like WandaVision is like, I liked WandaVision more when it was just doing the sitcom spoofs. And if it only did that and didn't have any real plot, anything, I would have enjoyed that more than what we got. But if you're like going to do a plot thing, like it hits you with some heavy stuff right out of the gate and you're like, Jesus, this is a lot.
We love when there's a lot to take in.
Yeah. It's some dark shit kind. I mean, not like super dark, but like surprisingly
for Marvel,
heavy stuff from Marvel. Yeah. Which they could have done with WandaVision, but the whole plot was like she's sad. And like she from Endgame that she's sad, and at the end of WandaVision you're like, she's still sad. And she's got better powers now.
It's character development for you.
They shouldn't, I don't know. Whoever directed that, and I'm not going to name names, but whoever directed that shouldn't be allowed to direct movies or TV. Or whoever wrote it, I guess, is probably more who I have beef with and who direct whatever. Who cares?
Who cares? Anyone involved in the production? Move.
You can go kick rocks.
Touch grass.
Is that a phrase?
Yeah.
Okay.
Touch grass is really good. It's one of my favorite phrases.
I like that a lot. I need to add that to my vocabulary.
For folks who don't get it, it means go outside. It means
people really do need to go outside.
Yeah. Speaking of getting dark right off the bat, who's your bad boy?
Oh, we're going to do that?
We're going to, it was an easy transition. I've already exhausted my week's worth of living, which was nothing. We've talked about 3 movies that neither of us have seen. Feel like it's time we get into the content.
Yeah, it's time we do the show. Well, my bad boy isn't even really that dark, I would say. Although there was a IRL dark bad boy that maybe we can touch on later. That happened this week.
Foreboding.
Very foreboding. But my bad boy is let me pull up her name.
Her.
It's a bad girl, but that sounds weird. Dahlia DiPolito.
Is this the Black Dahlia?
It's not. She's white, I guess.
I think the Black Dahlia was about a murder that happened of a white woman, I believe. She
didn't die. I guess her parents parent has the last name of Muhammad, so I guess she is of some sort of Middle Eastern descent, perhaps.
Perhaps. It's the most common name in the
Also
world.
very funny that in the people also search for section in Google, Donald Trump is the 4th other searched for person when you search for Dahlia DiPolito. And so before she was Dahlia DiPolito, I guess she was Dahlia Muhammad, and I would assume. I don't know.
It's only fair.
Yeah. And she was a bit of a hua or a whore. Yeah. And she was called over by a Mike DiPolito at one point, and he was so enamored with Dahlia that he was like, I'm going to divorce my wife and then marry her. Marry Dahlia. And
fair.
They were okay for a while. And old Mike, he was on probation for like some, I think, drug or like fraud or something. And while they were together, things were great. But then like occasionally, like the police would be called over to his place with like an anonymous tip that he had drugs, which he didn't. or they'd be like going out, like him and Dahlia would be going out to dinner, and then like the police would just be waiting for them outside because an anonymous tip said he had drugs in his car.
Sounds rude.
It sounds like somebody is up to something.
Is it perhaps Dahlia?
It might have been. I don't want to, suggest a woman did anything wrong. And so eventually, yes, it was. She was obviously the one calling it. Eventually, she was like, "I've had enough." And she gets one of her ex-boyfriends to like call Mike and be like, "Hey, you should, for no reason at all, sign your house over to Dahlia so that she owns it." And he was like, "Okay." And then he did that. And then she called one of her ex-boyfriends and was like, "Hey," a different one than the first one. And she was like, "Hey, like, I know you're into some shady shit. Can you like hook me up with a hitman so we can murder, so I can get rid of Mike?" And the guy was like, "Okay." And then he immediately goes to the police.
It's a smart boy.
He's truly the smartest person involved in this entire narrative.
Presumably he broke up with Dahlia as well.
At some point I would hope he did. It wasn't the other way around, but he was like, "I ain't having any of this girl's BS." So he goes to the cops. He's like, "Hey, she's trying to solicit somebody for murder. So like keep an eye out for that." And they're like, "Okay." And then they like send in an undercover cop to be like the kind of like the point guy for her and the hitman and all that stuff. And they like get video evidence of like her in the cop's car talking to who she thinks is the hitman or whatever. And like, asking for everything to be taken care of. And she's like giving him all the details, like when Mike is in and out of the house and stuff. And then eventually they're like, "Okay, cool. Like we'll do it on this day." And then the guys like go to the house and they're like, "Hey, Mike, your wife is trying to murder you. Here's some video evidence." And Mike's like, "Well, dang." And so they take Mike out of the picture, and then like they pretend like they did murder him. And so like they call up Dahlia. They're like, "Hey, your husband's dead." And so she's like, or no, they're like, "Hey, you need to come home. Like something's happened." And then she comes home, and they're like, she's like, What happened?" They're like, "Where's Mike?" And they're like, your husband's dead." And she like immediately does like the most over dramatic, like,
oh, good heavens.
Yeah. Well, she wasn't Southern, but yeah.
What's the time frame on this? Like when did it happen? Era? Yeah. What era of Earth?
Like 2010-ish.
Nice.
Yeah. And she went to trial in 2011, but so somewhere in that time period. Yeah. I'm sure you can look up like videos of her from the news. It's pretty funny. And so they like take her in for questioning and stuff, and they're basically like, they know that she's responsible for this, and they also know that Mike's not dead, so they're completely fucking with her the whole time. And she's like, "I don't know what happened, like I don't have anything to do with this, like can I see a picture? Like I just want to see a picture of Mike so like I know that he's dead."
Yeah.
And they're like, "No, we can't do that." And then eventually they're like, "By the way, he's alive." And she's like, "Oh, thank God." And then like they're like, "You're under arrest for trying to kill him." And she's like, "No, I'm not."
No.
They're like, "Yeah, you are." And then
I disagree.
She's like, "Can I see Mike?" And they're like, "No, he doesn't want to see you." And then she like goes to jail, and she like calls Mike, and she's like, like I need a lawyer. Can you help me?" And he's like, "What are you fucking talking about?"
Not really the person you'd go to.
Yeah,
for that.
Yeah. It's like if you were her, who would you call?
Yeah,
probably literally anybody other than the guy you tried to murder. But she's like, "No, I'm gonna call Mike." And he's like, he's still like pretty nice to her though. He's like, "Look, don't talk to anybody. Like they're not like, it's gonna suck. Just like deal with it." But like he was giving her like some advice on how to handle being in prison. Yeah, but I think they like tried to frame her defense for it when they went to trial. They tried to frame it as like it was all a prank. Like they were trying to, because like Mike wanted to be on TV or something. Like her defense was like, yeah, this was everyone was in on it. And this was like a way for them to like be in the news and be famous. And needless to say, I think she's has life in prison.
Well, that's good. It's a real Balloon Boy situation. You remember Balloon Boy?
It's not life in prison. She has a 16-year jail sentence. Excuse me.
Good enough.
So in 2032, she'll be on the streets. She's currently
Look
38.
out, folks.
So,
well,
yeah.
Who knows?
So
Who
don't
knows
don't go to jail, kids, and don't
jail's
solicit
bad.
people for murder and then like do a bad job. Don't ask your exes for help in trying to kill your current husband.
Yeah, they normally don't have your best interest in mind.
Also,
if you have broken up,
don't trust women is also the lesson I got from this.
I mean, I didn't get that lesson, but
Mike, he trusted a lady at a sex worker. Not that there's anything wrong with being a sex worker. Probably shouldn't talk too much shit about sex workers this week. But,
we love sex workers.
Well, I support them in all ways except financially.
Correct.
Which I think is what everybody should do. And now you might be saying, but then they can't do their job. And, it is what it is.
Sure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Sounds like everybody's kind of dumb. You were right. When you told me that one ex-boyfriend was the smartest guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, real Balloon Boy situation.
It is, yeah. I mean, in the videos I was watching, Mike does come off as like a cool guy. Like he seems like a nice guy. He's just like kind of naive more than anything else,
Is there a video of her talking to a guy in a car about this Hitman situation and the guy is an undercover cop?
Yeah.
I've seen that video.
Yeah, it's great. all the videos of this are great because she looks really stupid.
She does. Well, that was quite an interesting tale.
Yeah, it was, it wasn't that dark. It was kind of lighthearted. No one got hurt.
A little lighthearted. We can be a little wholesome.
Yeah.
My bad boy is a convicted serial killer.
Ooh.
And
that's a little different.
A little different. He did kill 5 people, confirmed, and suspected.
He got 5 kills on the board right now.
Yeah, 5 kills on the board right now, and he is suspected of 9 to 15 plus, which I don't like the use of plus in a range.
Yeah, it's not really because that's not really.
It's not an accurate range.
Or more than 15.
Yeah,
anywhere from 9 to 1 million. We really don't know.
So this is a little wild.
Would you say that he wiped out Tomato Town?
Like at least 2 squads.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
I don't know how many squads are in Tomato Town. He's in Akron, Ohio. Which
well, you're in Ohio. That's not great.
Yeah. No,
sorry to all of our Ohio listeners out there, but your state
I don't know.
Sucks.
Yeah, I don't know anything good that happens in Ohio. Do I? No, I got nothing.
Yeah.
So serial killer, and so he's in jail in 1955, and he escapes, which I think is cool. I think escaping prison is one of the coolest crimes.
Yeah, it is kind of badass.
And also, I believe it's Sweden or Norway, one of the Nordic countries. It's not illegal to break out of prison. They're like, yeah, it's like human nature to want to escape prison. So like, we're not going to fault you for that. which I think is kind of cool.
That's
It's just
pretty.
like, you know,
It's kind of a noble rule. Just like, yeah, I mean, if you can get out of prison, then fine, you earned it.
yeah, it's like in America, it's like you're in a police chase and they're gonna cite you for running a red light, and it's like, come on, guys, just of course.
Yeah, or they'll
Like,
cite you for speeding, except that you were going the same speed as everybody else, and they're gonna.
yeah.
Dude, I don't think I'm gonna be able to beat the case, unfortunately.
I think it'll be fine. My wife got 2 parking tickets at the same time. Well,
How much
She's
did they hit her for?
they're like $30 each.
Yeah, this is
She's parked in one
560.
spot. Oof, oof.
That's a PS5 right there, baby.
She was parked in one parking spot, which she was allowed to be parked in
Yeah.
for multiple days.
Is
And
your wife
then-
going to appreciate you doxing her,
I
her parking
think
ticket history?
I think this is fine.
Okay.
So they gave her 2 tickets on consecutive days, and we just like didn't leave the house because it's quarantine, bitch. And then she was like, "Okay, I'm just gonna fight them." And the process is not like going to court. It was basically just like, if you say you want to fight them, we'll like decide if that's okay or not. So 2 tickets on consecutive days, and she was just like, "Yeah, like these don't make sense. Like I'm allowed to be parked here."
yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, we'll throw out one, but you have to pay the other one." And it's like, okay, so these are just fake, right? Like this just means nothing. It was a bit of a scam.
Dude, it's so much bullshit.
It's garbage. A cab, baby.
Did she get them in the Great North or in
Yeah,
the?
it was in Canada. I believe she was targeted because she has American license plates.
Wow, what a hate crime.
It is a hate crime, and it's fucked up.
Dude, you know what's a fucking hate crime? On Bumble, I have a picture of the American, like it's me in a cowboy hat with a shirt with red, white, and blue on it. I have the American flag emoji because I took it on the 4th of July, which is freaking Independence Day, for those of you who don't know that somehow. And they keep taking it down because it's inappropriate, because like apparently like the American flag emoji is like dog whistling for being like a white supremacist or something, which is completely insane.
Yeah, I mean, like, I see their point, but also
like, or you
Yeah,
could just
that's-
like the flag. Like if I was from
Yeah.
if I was from fucking Spain and I put the
Zimbabwe.
Spanish flag, or or wherever, right?
yeah.
I would put whatever my special day was. I would be in those colors, and I'd put the flag.
Yeah. I mean, like, I think that's fine. I think
Yeah,
it's very rude
I
of
don't
them
think
to
it's-
take it down.
It's only Bumble that does this. All the other ones are like, we don't care. It's just a fucking flag. But Bumble's like, oh no, because this is for the ladies, for the girl bosses. We can't have somebody who might be a white supremacist because they had the audacity
Which-
of using the American flag emoji.
Which, pretty rude, because what about the lady white supremacists?
That's the only people who are on that app. Fucking hate Bumble.
Great. So anyway, this bad boy, he escapes from prison in 1955. He's fleeing across the country from Akron, Ohio. And his plan is to just hold up gas stations. A pretty low-level crime.
I do that in GTA.
Yeah,
It's like my favorite thing to do is like pretend they're huge heists.
yeah. It's
Get,
pretty
like,
low level. Like, it's not
$200.
nice. It's not nice, but like,
It's a rude thing to do.
you're not getting that much money, and usually there's only one employee, and they
Yeah.
just have to be like, "Yeah, I got robbed. What are you gonna do?" It's 1961, which it was by the time he got caught. Oh no! So he breaks out in 1955, and in 1961 he was on the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitives list. And all he was doing is holding up gas stations.
And he never got caught?
he didn't get
he did
caught.
eventually, but
He did eventually, but in 1962 he gets caught in Atlanta, Georgia.
we
Goes
keep
back
accidentally circling back to Atlanta, Georgia today, and the events that occurred this week.
It's it's a
We'll
hotbed
get there.
for bad boys. And so he's in prison for like 5 years. He gets out on parole. And this is where he starts doing a little bit of murdering.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, he's
up until then, he was a wholesome robber. He wasn't killing anybody.
Yeah. He's a fairly slow murderer for a serial killer. Confirmed 5 kills on the board between 1977 and 1996. That's pretty slow.
Yeah, that's one every once in a while.
Yeah,
just do it just to see if you still feel something. You're like,
yeah.
Maybe I'll make this a regular thing, and then you just kind of life gets ahead of you, and you're just sort of busy.
It's like, oh yeah, I was gonna do that thing. I'm always like forgetting my hobbies. I get so caught up.
Yeah,
in the workaday world.
You're like, well, this was great. Why did I ever stop doing this? And then there's bills, and you have to go to work.
Your boss, like that doesn't pay the bills.
Yeah,
you're not getting any money. You gotta go rob a gas station.
And you can't kill a person and rob a gas station at the same time. That's just
you gotta clock in and rob the gas station.
It's mixing business with pleasure.
So yeah, 1977 to 1996. Now keep in mind, this man was born in 1933. He's getting old. Up there in age. He's getting pretty up there by 96. And so let me figure this out. So he's in jail. He claims that he never wore any mask of any kind because he wanted to be famous for robbing gas stations. Which, when he was on the FBI's 10 most wanted list, he kind of was.
It's about as famous as you can reasonably hope to be. Remember when like FBI's most wanted was like a TV show that people were like into and like talked about?
Yeah. Malibu's Most Wanted. I feel like true crime podcasts kind of took over.
Yeah. This Cops still a show? Actually it is, right? Because there was like a big deal about it last year, how they like weren't going to do it because of, how cops didn't exactly have the best PR last year. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't a good look for them.
Is Dog still bounty hunting?
That's a thing.
Dog the Bounty Hunter? You never watched Dog the Bounty Hunter?
I did not watch Dog the Bounty Hunter.
Oh man.
Was it
He's like
his name
65.
Is Dog?
His name is Dog. He's like a 65-year-old blonde man with a mullet. He doesn't have a mullet. He has hair metal hair. It's very long and greasy.
Oh, yuck.
And he's just like he just hunts bounties.
So whoops.
Somebody did a fucky wucky. Going to be 15 extra seconds in editing for me. Thank you very much. So that's Dog the Bounty Hunter. He's just like a blonde man that yells at people for not showing up to court, and then he slams them on the ground of their front porch.
Yeah.
And he handcuffs them.
And he has gross hair.
He has gross hair, and he has like a lifted F-150 or something. Yeah. Cool guy. Super cool guy. He's probably 100 at this point. Anyway, that's Dog. But we're talking about my bad boy, who I've not named yet.
Yeah, you haven't named the guy.
I haven't named the guy, which is the reason I chose him. His name is Edward Edwards.
Sick.
Pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Which, like, you see a lot of that. Like, I've met probably 5 people named Muhammad. But I've never seen that with like white people. Edward Edwards.
Yeah, I'm trying to go through my Rolodex of people that I know.
If you knew it, it would probably be right there. It's a notable thing.
It's not something one just forgets. Yeah.
Yeah. So Edward Edwards, he's robbing gas stations and he wants to be famous. And then he gets caught and he goes to Leavenworth, which you probably know. Everyone knows Leavenworth.
What if, let's just hypothetically, let's say I don't know what Leavenworth is.
It's just a fairly famous prison. I believe it's in Kansas.
Yuck.
Is it in Kansas? Yeah, it's like a famous prison. And then he gets paroled in 1967. And
that's good.
Here's an interesting little tidbit. Edward Edwards claimed that the influence of a benevolent security guard at Leavenworth reformed him, and then he became a motivational speaker.
That's great.
Pretty cool. But this is before the murders. This is 1967. He was on TV. He always wanted to be famous. He was on the television show What's My Line? And the television show To Tell the Truth, which I've never heard of.
Oh, To Tell the Truth. That's a show where they bring in like 3 people who
it's like a celebrity panel show.
Yeah, there's like celebrity panels who have to guess like which people are lying. It's like 2 truths and a lie, but
interesting.
But there's people who are like, my job is this thing. Or I think 3 people are like, my job is this thing. And they have to guess which one is like the real person. So 2 lies and a truth.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a stupid show.
Yeah, it's from 1972. I could imagine it's bad.
Oh well, they have a modern version.
Oh,
I'm talking about the modern version. I was like, wow, he was on the modern one. Crazy.
Well, we're gonna get to that. So he was on these 2 shows, and he wrote an autobiography. The Metamorphosis of a Criminal, the true life story of Ed Edwards in 1972. This biography is like all over the place. This is so hard to follow.
And he's doing all this stuff right before he starts very slowly killing people.
Yeah. It's like
he's trying too hard to divert attention away from himself.
Yeah. I mean, he's trying to like just be famous for anything, it feels like. He in 1982 he went to jail for 2 years for arson. What are you doing, buddy? Just pick a lane, you know?
Yeah, you can't steal and be an arsonist.
I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be a gas station robber. I'm going to be on TV, and just like
he's a jack of all trades.
Nobody does that.
Yeah,
you gotta Tony Hawk Pro Skater. You max out one
thing.
One thing.
Even if nobody knows who you are.
Yeah. I mean, nobody gets famous for doing a lot. People are like, they get famous for one thing and then they branch out. People are like, whoa, you can do that too? Like Childish Gambino.
Or Rihanna.
Yeah. I feel like Rihanna's never going to make music again.
Yeah, I don't think she will either. I think she's fine just like making
millions of dollars.
Bad underwear.
Well, I think she's doing good with her makeup line and such.
Forgot she has a makeup line.
Yeah, she's rolling in dough. I like her music though. I feel like she should come back, but also she has no need to. So anyway, Edward Edwards. Arson? What are you doing? What else? What else did he do?
I don't know. You're the one who did the research, man. I don't know.
I've done zero research, and I'm realizing this article that I'm reading just like has no timeline.
That's
Just
fine.
like zero timeline. First murders for which he was convicted: Billy Lavaco and Judy Straub. I did get a note that we don't focus on the victims of these crimes ever. We're always focusing on the bad boy, which is kind of,
I mean, that is
the gimmick.
The podcast is it is bad boy crimes. It's not people who died.
Yeah. But in that vein, Billy Lavaco, Judy Straub, rest in peace.
Wait, who gave us that note?
I refuse to say.
All right.
I refuse to say, but rest in peace to Billy and Judy.
Do you have any words for them? Let's really focus on them.
Well, they don't have.
Let's really eulogize them.
They don't have a Wikipedia page, so
exactly.
I have nothing to say about them.
That's the stupidest note I've ever gotten about anything.
Okay, relax. We have so few fans. We get one note, and you're like, "Let's focus on this for 10 minutes." What an idiot!
That's what they're. I mean, I feel like people have been too positive about me recently.
Well, the complaint was really like, this is a complaint that I've seen about true crime podcasts in general, which is why people are sort of shifting away from them. The general zeitgeist is that they very rarely focus on victims. I was trying to be a little proactive, but fuck me, I guess. So he kills these two lovely human beings in 1977. And the old justice system, let me tell you, it's a little lacking. He did receive a life sentence, 2 life sentences.
That's good.
That's good, but my problem with it is when these life sentences were handed out. And they were handed out in the year 2010.
Oh, that's way late. That is not on time.
Late. No. So double homicide, 1977, and then 1980, another double homicide.
Oh,
so he's just doing 2 at a time. Tim Hack and Kelly Drew, stabbed and strangled.
Are these like couples, or are they like just 2 people that happen to just be murdered together?
This is referred to as the sweetheart murders. So I believe they were a couple. R.I.P.
R.I.P. Let's give him a nice little eulogy. I'm sure they would have lived lives that would have been fine, and maybe they would have had kids. That would have been.
Maybe they did have kids.
Oh, they did.
Maybe
so they left some. Oh,
I don't know how old they were. I know nothing about these people except their names, but they were sweethearts allegedly.
They could have been great parents.
They could have been.
They could have been bad parents.
They could have been raising Edward Edwards. Could have been his parents.
The cycle of abuse could have continued. Really, there's no way.
He was
an
orphan. He was an orphan, so they could have been his parents, in theory. 29 years later, he was questioned about it. He was questioned about these murders at the time, but they did not have enough basis to hold him on anything. 29 years later, DNA testing. Edward Edwards' daughter, April, called the cops. She snitched.
Wow.
Yeah, she snitched. She was
what
like,
a fucking loser.
I think that my dad may have done this.
Why? Well, because he was telling me these stories about when he murdered people, and I thought maybe maybe this is real.
Yeah.
Or like they're watching a true crime show and they're talking about the murders that he did, and they're like, we have no idea how they happened. And he's just sitting there like, heh.
Nice.
He's like, yeah, I bet you don't. And then the daughter's like,
Yeah. And then he confessed in 1996 to the murder of 25-year-old Danny Boy Edwards.
Danny Boy. Poor sweet Danny Boy.
The victim had lived with Edward Edwards and his family for several years as an unofficial adopted son.
He murdered his own fake kid.
His fake son.
That's rough.
Original name Danny Law Glockner. Pretty cool. So he murdered his...
Danny Boy Edwards is a better name, though.
Yeah,
that kind of rules.
Danny Boy. Middle name Boy, kind of sick. Maybe not as an adult. Maybe that's not cool.
Well, then it's good
like
that he
40.
probably didn't look to be an adult.
Yeah. So he killed him as a scheme to collect insurance money.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was sentenced to death for that one. So pretty bad. And he was supposed to be March 2011. He was sentenced to death for that murder, and then he died of natural causes a month later. So,
real karma Houdini there.
Yeah. Avoided execution by lethal injection set for August 31st, which some of you may know is my birthday. Could have been.
What a way you could have celebrated.
Yeah.
You're like, man, I'm going to be popping the biggest bottles on my birthday when this guy gets the death penalty. And then you turn on the news and you're just
2011? What was I doing on my birthday in 2011?
I don't know.
How old was I? 19?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I remember. I remember my 19th birthday very well.
What happened on your 19th birthday?
We're not going to get into that.
Let's get into it. This sounds pretty interesting.
I will say part of my day, I was renovating my dad's house. We were putting in a new pathway from the front yard to the backyard out of bricks. So that's what I was doing. But a few days before, I got my wisdom teeth out and I hadn't eaten in like 5 days. I didn't eat anything. So I was extremely weak. And I remember not being able to lift a single brick. It's like 5 pounds.
Yeah, bricks aren't that heavy.
No, I don't even know if it is 5 pounds, probably less. And I was like, both hands struggling just to lift it off the ground. And I had no idea why. So you got to eat your veggies, kids.
Eating is important.
Yeah. So that was my birthday. I didn't have any friends. Retired homicide detective John Cameron speculated that Edward Edwards was responsible for the several high-profile cases, including the Zodiac killings in the Bay Area of California and the murder of John Benet Ramsey. I believe that he was wrong about both of those.
Yeah. I don't know anything about either of those, so
I think
I can't comment.
I think they just solved the Zodiac killer cipher that he sent, the message that he gave police.
Oh, didn't they do that like last year?
Yeah, it was pretty recently. And then the John Benet Ramsey case is not solved, but basically it was her brother. That's
kind of lame.
Yeah, it's a consensus. Is he like beat her in the face with a golf club or something?
Classic.
Yeah, pretty rude. What else? In 1993, the FBI found some documentation that Edwards had. He was requesting criminal history records for himself in 19 different states.
That's just a peculiar thing to do.
Yeah. It says he claimed J. Edgar Hoover more or less gave me permission to proceed after I assured him that there was nothing bad about the FBI in anything that I was doing.
What?
It's very weird.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Yep, that's cool. And then he was writing a new book about the people that he met in jail.
Yeah.
Notably, Tony Provenzano, Charles Manson, and Jimmy Hoffa.
Jimmy Hoffa?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Wasn't he murdered?
He was murdered, presumably after he was in jail.
I forget. Because I watched The Irishman. I don't remember him going to jail.
Poetic license, I suppose.
Or I'm an idiot.
It's possible. It is a long movie.
Yeah.
Tony Provenzano.
Not
You
Tony
may
Soprano?
No, but
Thugs?
close. Close.
Yeah.
He was the capo regime of the Genovese crime family.
Sounds like Tony Soprano was inspired by this fellow.
Yeah. Very similar names.
I'm calling it now. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's this guy. I'm trying to make sense of this timeline. It's all out of whack, so forget it. You get the idea. Basically, his name is Edward Edwards, and he killed people.
And that's why we're the #1 true crime podcast.
Yeah.
We're very good at our job.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
What do you? I'm pretty upset that they didn't get him until 2009. This man died in 2011.
That's pretty impressive. He just was like, yeah, I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And you guys can't do anything about it.
I mean, he did go to jail several times.
Yeah, but like he really should have had a harder go of it than just going to jail.
Yeah. But he also did break out of jail, which, let's
Very
remember,
cool.
still sick. And he was on TV. Your justice system is fricked up, dude.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not good here.
Yeah, so that's that crime. I mean, I didn't do a lot of research, but keep in mind you did steal my crime last week. So
Did I?
yeah, I was gonna do that one for this week.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Old
Stephen McDaniel.
Yeah, but then you said I was a criminal, so I feel like me
true.
stealing yours was justified.
That's true. I mean, you did get written up by Johnny Law.
Yeah. God, fuck.
You'll get out of it, man.
I don't think I'm gonna get out of it, dude.
How fast are you going?
74 to 55.
You're supposed to say 55.
Right. Well, yeah,
We'll edit that out.
We'll
beep it out.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's definitely getting edited out.
You better be editing it then.
I'm editing it right now.
Perfect.
Well, there's already Wikipedia about
you speeding.
yeah. Yeah.
Are you referencing Atlanta, Georgia?
I am referencing Atlanta, Georgia. Do you have any thoughts?
I think that it's bad.
You know, I also want to, on the record, say that it was a bad thing.
I have had many bad days in my
No,
life.
I think that excuse is bullshit.
That was a little bit embarrassing for your justice system as well.
Yeah, well, I don't anticipate a white cop in Atlanta to be like the best guy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it was bad. I think that the excuse that it was basically just like a case of the Mondays, pretty bad. I think that we need to not kill people as a society.
It's a rude thing to do.
I am anti-murder in pretty much every case.
Except for murders that have already happened that we couldn't have prevented, that we need to talk about in this podcast, in which case, you know.
Yeah. It's a bit of a gray area.
Separate the art from the artist. But this was bad.
This was bad.
Bad
You
thing.
You should
And the
not.
guy looked like a loser.
Well, yeah.
He had the longest neck beard. It was disgusting.
Well, the thing is, he was just like, I have a sex addiction, and that's women's fault. Which, no. And also, sex addiction's not a real thing.
Yeah.
It's just made up. You made it up to feel better about the fact that you suck.
You have no self-control.
Well, like, there's studies done, which I'm not going to source, that are like, people who claim to have a sex addiction, like, don't, like, watch more porn. They don't, like, they only have sex more because they're trying harder.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Because they're rapists.
Yeah. They are rapists.
All people with sex addictions are rapists.
I agree. Riley Reid, rapist.
I was like, well, does it count? Does being in porn, is she a sex addict in addition to a porn star?
I don't know, but she's a rapist in addition to being a porn star.
She raped?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Who?
She admitted to it on Twitter.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Did anybody do anything about this?
No, absolutely not.
And that's because women are bad.
Yeah, particularly this one. Let me pull up this tweet that she put out. So somebody tweeted asking, when did you lose your virginity? And she said, funny story.
That's not a good
Funny
answer.
story. This is from July 2012. Funny story. I raped a kid in a movie theater because I wanted to fuck and he kept saying no. That's how I lost it. Not great.
Women really don't like it when they want to fuck and you don't want to fuck. They can't stand it.
Yeah. And then also her rap career. I'm not
She had
a
a
fan.
rap career?
She had a rap song.
Oh. Ugh. I barely even know what she looks like. I just remember like one girl on TikTok talking about how everyone thought she looked like Riley Reid, and I'm like, well, I guess she looks something like this person.
Yeah. I know what she looks like because I watched her rap music video.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, that is legitimately the only reason. And I watched it today. I've seen it before, but I watched it today.
Why?
I was having a bit of a moment, and I was like, let me just see what this was again. She says the N-word so much.
Oh no.
She's very white, let me remind you. Which you would know because I said that she was a rapist and that nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, she says the N-word a lot. It's not good.
You can't be doing that.
No,
We've said it many times on this podcast that you really shouldn't say the N-word.
No.
And we're not going to give her a pass just because she's a white woman. Many people would want us to do that, but we're not going to because we are moral paragons of the podcasting
we have
community.
Integrity.
Yeah.
What else is in the news? We do news stuff these days.
Yeah, we do news stuff. I don't think really much happened compared to last week where like everybody was saying the N-word. This week it's
just Riley Reid in 2014.
yeah, and
Still Papa
a
John,
dude shooting
probably.
up 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'm very upset that they are classifying it as not a hate crime.
I have mixed feelings about this.
It definitely is a hate crime, and it's like they have started to say that women are a minority group that can consist of a hate crime, which I think is fine. I think it's a bit much, but this crime in particular, like he's fetishizing Asian women, and then he's just like, well, yeah, this is a thing that's tempting me, so I need to get rid of it. it's not seeing them as human, which I think makes it a racist hate
It's
crime.
definitely bad.
It's not about them being women in this case. Although, like,
I think it's more about them
women.
being sex workers, really more than anything else.
It's possible.
I mean, because it's just like from the way I'm seeing it, from a logistical, sociopathic standpoint, it's like, what's the best way to get a handy that is professional yet discreet, and you're paying for it, and it's one of these massage joints, right?
Yeah.
But it's, I mean, is this bad? Is this a rude question to ask? But it's like, do other minorities run those? You know what I mean? I don't know. I
don't know if they run them. I'm sure there are some that are run by other.
Because all these women are
minorities.
probably like, I mean, how much of this is even their own choosing to engage in this profession? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the whole thing is pretty toxic. But I do know that there are other ethnicities working in these establishments.
I
have
always
inside
saw
source.
the stereotype of it being Asian, you know? So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I guess, both. But I feel like people are like not talking about how it's like, well, clearly it's like he hates sex workers. Like,
yeah.
Clearly. Also, a white guy died. Like,
yeah, which good.
We are pro anything bad happening to white men, which is why everything bad happens to me specifically.
Well, like, name one world problem that can't be traced back to white men.
I got nothing. Well,
there's nothing.
Japan was a little rude.
Yeah, but what's a global problem today that can't be traced back to white men? Straight white men.
I mean, I don't know. Still, straight white men didn't have anything to do with the Korean and Japanese animosity towards each other, and I'm sure there's been some crimes there.
I wouldn't say nothing to do with it.
Well, because I guess Japan. Well, because when did Japan invade Korea? Right, that was in like the 50s, 60s.
You're asking me questions beyond my pay grade.
Yeah. When did Japan invade Korea?
Yep. This is the content that we need.
1592.
Yeah, it was like
1598. So this was definitely old.
Yeah, I was like, that wasn't recent.
Yeah, okay. So I don't think white guys. I was like 50s of what century? I think I transposed the numbers in my head.
That happens.
The middle ones, but yeah. So I don't think white people had anything to do with that one. Like, I think we were just selling. Possible. I mean, I say like the Dutch were selling them like clocks. I don't even know if that happened in that.
Yeah.
When did the Dutch go to Japan?
Yeah.
In 1600s. Yeah. So we had nothing to do with Japan invading Korea. Japanese are very imperialist.
That's true. But like, Japanese people are white these days. So
it's true. There is a hierarchy of within minorities of
which there should not
who
be.
is most or least oppressed, I guess.
I did see some oppression Olympics going on Twitter recently.
Oh, I'm sure some people were like, well, this isn't about Asian people. It's about Southeast Asian people.
What I saw was not related to that. It was...
which, I mean, is valid. It's just, it's like time and place, I suppose, to like...
Yeah. The one that I saw was that slavery was worse than the Holocaust. And it's like...
That's a tough call.
is like, why are you comparing these? Like,
That's like it's not even like which one's worse. It's just like an apples and oranges kind of a scenario. You know what I mean?
yeah.
They're both really bad, but in very different ways.
So somebody said that slavery was worse than the Holocaust, and then somebody replied, and they're like, yeah, like these are not the same thing, and also like they're both bad. You shouldn't.
I'm glad I had the right. Them. I'm glad I had the right take there.
Yeah. And then he replied and he said one was deserved and the other one wasn't. And it's like, okay, buddy, you've gone way too far now.
Whoa. That's
it's not
that's
good.
Rough. So you can't be saying that.
Yeah. I think that neither of them were deserved, if you ask me.
Yeah, I think no one should be enslaved or genocided.
Yeah, I think genocide is bad.
I agree. I also think it's bad. Really, everyone should just stay in their own lane and mind their damn business.
Yeah. I feel like we should just should go back in time and not invent slavery or genocide. We should
have stopped it.
Yeah. Where were you? Why didn't you stop it?
Because I was too busy trying to stop myself from ruining different opportunities I've had.
Yeah.
Which I most certainly have ruined them, and they are dead. But I'm glad we didn't record. I'm glad we didn't record on Thursday or whatever day it was where I really spiraled. I'm okay now.
I'm glad you're okay. I was a little worried about you.
I'm good, man. I'm good.
That's good.
I'm chilling. I spent $20 on a boost on Hinge, and I'm like, oh, this is where everybody is. Which
How did that work out for you?
It's so stupid. Like, I'm like, okay, so I spent the $20. My profile gets boosted for a full 24 hours. Sure. And I get like 10 matches with people like in not 10 likes, like 10 matches that of people liking me first and me, giving them the thumbs up or the thumbs down.
Very cool.
With people in my in my league. And I'm like, oh, like I'm not ugly. They're just not showing me to anybody.
Yeah. That's, which
is,
they've commodified
a mixed bag.
They've commodified getting pussy.
I'm not even, dude. I just want to find a damn bae.
Yeah, I was being a little reductive, for humor's sake.
Well, there's joking about women is not something we ever do. Not on this podcast.
I was joking about capitalism.
They are commodifying just human connection in whatever form you want to define that.
Yeah. And maybe I am a little bit what's the word?
I don't know.
What's the word that I was told that I was curmudgeon? Not curmudgeon.
Oh yeah. What was the
I don't know. It was rude. Somebody said that I was not jovial.
Yeah.
Which I take offense to.
High strung? Was that it?
No.
That also wouldn't be accurate.
Know.
Yeah, I'm certainly not going to look up the comment, but yeah.
No, yeah. Somebody very rudely said that I'm no fun on this podcast, basically, which pretty much destroyed me.
I mean, based on who said it, I wouldn't take that much weight. Everybody likes you on this podcast more than they like me. I
hope so.
For your own sake, you hope so, and I don't care because I bring on a lot of the negative, the bad vibes. Although I have worked on it a little bit, and I'm less.
You have worked on it.
I'm less vile.
Yeah,
but I think this episode I might have dipped a little bit back.
A little bit, yeah.
Not too much. If we recorded like 2 days ago, it would have been rough. It would have been that April episode that we never released.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
We got to get back to some of the things we were talking about on there.
Yeah, like the trains. I'll have
Yeah.
access to that office again probably in the future.
Maybe that's the secret.
And just, I need something bad to happen to me. I'll call you, be like, leave the candy factory. We have important work to do. I'll get trained up, and we'll be ready to go.
I mean, what could we get up to? If
Talking about trains and swords.
I mean, why not?
I can go off about Final Fantasy 14 some more, which I'm sure everybody really likes hearing about.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah, man, I'm almost done with the second expansion. That's what I was doing before recording this.
Yeah, you made me wait.
Or the
like
first
an hour.
expansion, and I'm about to start the second expansion. Yeah.
You made me wait like an hour.
I'll get to go to Japan land and do samurai shit, which is very me. I feel like in a lot of ways I'm a samurai.
I would say at least 2 ways you're like a samurai.
Which ways?
Yeah, I plead the fifth.
You don't do follow-up questions. There we go.
Yeah.
We could bring it in for a landing, folks.
Woo! Any final thoughts? Any plugs?
If there are any lawyers listening who want to get in touch with me on a variety of things involving the law, you slide into the DMs for our Twitter, which is Bad Boy Crimes on Twitter.
Bad Boy
Crimes Pod. Yeah, Bad Boy Crimes Pod on Twitter.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
You could find this podcast as an NFT.
Is that a thing now?
I don't know. They have music NFTs. Why not?
How can I want? But did it get made?
No.
I
have no idea how to do it. Something said I need $2,000 of Ethereum, and another thing said that I just need like
the picture,
like 40 cents of Ethereum. I need some kind of Ethereum, which I have, but it's in an account that I can't transfer to the account that I need it in. So like I don't know.
Wire you Ethereum? Like I don't even know how to acquire that.
Like
I have Dogecoin.
I could buy the Ethereum required. This is just to offset the cost to the planet that minting an NFT causes. That's what it's for. So until I do that, they won't let me do an NFT. And also, I asked my wife, and she said she doesn't want me to do one because she believes that the Earth deserves better.
Okay, well, making one stupid fake coin is not the same as like having warehouses full of like GPUs, or CPUs or whatever mining Bitcoin.
Yeah,
it's a very different thing.
I'm firmly against personal responsibility over the environment.
Yeah, it's all the big corporations, folks.
Like
you're never responsible for anything. Personal accountability does not exist.
There's such a push against like plastic straws and stuff, and now like we have paper straws and plastic wrapping. But like even if we just outright banned plastic straws worldwide, that's going to reduce global population pollution by like 1.5%. Like it's so negligible.
Part of it though is like we as consumers demand certain things that companies are fulfilling, and at certain price points that require them to cut so it's like there is going to have to be some sort of sacrifice on the consumer end in order for, I think, a lot of things to like play out.
Yeah, but like we can't initiate that.
I mean, we can just stop buying things.
Yeah, but like that's not that takes so much like organization on a pedestrian level.
Well, it's also just never going to happen because we like
yeah,
convenience too much.
Well, it's
We
not
have
that
to
we
have
like
it taken away
convenience,
from
it's-
us without
it's that,
us.
It's that capitalism forces us to work so many hours until we just wish we were dead, and then we have no time to take care of ourselves, so we're forced to rely on the convenience of Uber Eats.
I mean, okay, but like let's take like plastic water bottles for example.
Yeah,
No one who lives in like a first world country with like a decent tap water should be buying bottled water rather than like getting a Brita filter and then just like using the tap. Like if you cared about the environment, you wouldn't be buying pallets of bottled water
I agree.
as your primary way of drinking water. And so many people do that because it's convenient.
Yeah, I agree.
And like Nestle wouldn't be bottling water if people weren't buying it. You know, it's like one thing to have bottled water on hand, like in case of an emergency, which, you know, I learned that lesson.
You had too much water.
I had at first I had no water and I was very dehydrated because I wasn't drinking any water and I felt very bad. And then I had too much water, but if I had bottled water, it would have been less of a bad time for me. But like that shouldn't be your daily way of drinking water.
I agree.
And if you do that, you're killing the planet because you're lazy. Those are my final thoughts.
All right. We've done every opinion. Very good.
Leave a review on iTunes.
I forgot that we were on iTunes.
Leave a review on iTunes. Give us 5 stars and say something funny so you can look at the review and go, "Wow, I'm the funniest person here."
Yeah. Call me a curmudgeon. It'll get to me. I probably won't read it, but if I do, it'll get to me.
I'll read it.
Thank you. I don't know how to access iTunes. I'm an adult.
I can access it. I think we have like 3 written reviews.
Oh hell yeah! Thanks everybody.
Yep. Let's get some more. Let's pump up that rating a little bit. That's it.
That's it. Look out for next week's episode. That's my plug. I thought I had something else, and then I just didn't.
There's so many things I've wanted to work on that I can't.
Yeah.
I would have things to plug. I'm very mad about it. All right, get out of here, you scamps.
Good night.